Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya. Om Namo Narayanaaya.
श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि।
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्।
சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
வெங்கடநாத கவிதா வேதாந்தாச்சாரியவர்யோமே சந்நிதத்தாய ராமானுஜதயா பாத்ரும் ஞான வைராக்கியபூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்ததேசிகம். ஈரொன்று தோப்போ திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே மையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர
Tataha என்கிற பதத்தில், let us start with Tataha என்கிற பதத்தில், page 18, Rahasya Sikhamani. We are talking about the shloka, Dharma shloka of Varaha Avatara. Generally, Tataha means then, so Tataha means therefore, and so on. So, என்கிற பதத்தில், in the word called Tataha, Smaranam Hetuvaha என்று பொருளானார். So, connect the word Tataha to Smarami. Now, there are two situations. One is, are we remembering the Lord at the fag end of life? That is also Smaranam. We say Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Third type of bhakti out of the 9. So are we remembering them? Are we remembering the Lord? There is a heavy doubt. It's a big question. So Periyalvar said, அப்போதைக்கு இப்போதை சொல்லி வைத்தேன். Kulashekara said, Adyaivave Vishaturam Manasa Rajahamsa. So whose Smaranam, whose memory? Let us dismiss the individual soul's memory. We are talking of Lord's memory of the individual soul. Of course, the individual soul is a devotee. Mad Bhaktam. He is a devotee of the Lord. He himself, Lord himself, has certified that he is a good devotee. Mad Bhaktam. That means he has crossed over the two disciplines, namely action, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So he is in the third stage. So he says, Aham Smarami. So Tataha then, so Smaranam Hetuvaha endru பொருளானார். Now shall we take the Lord's memory as the cause for moksha. It means nothing. இதற்கு ஒரு பிரயோஜனமும் இல்லை. பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. So you can't call it smaranam as the cost or the reason for moksha. Because moksha is paramam gatim. Please understand, paramagatihi is the highest goal. The highest goal is reached by smaranam, memory, meaning is very flimsy cause. It's not a full cause, a full reason. So இதற்கு ஒரு பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை. Meaning, the memory alone will not get us moksha. Even Lord's memory will not get us moksha. What will we get? We will see later. So tam என்கிற அளவாலும் இது தோற்றும் இப்படி. So tam என்கிற அளவாலும் aham marami mad bhaktam, not that tam, but tam separately. So I will remember him. When I say remember him, again it's not of importance. It has no importance. Because he treats all equal, whether he is a devotee or not. But tam has a special meaning, an extraordinary devotee whom he remembers. Tam meaning, even the devotee is indescribably great. That's the meaning. Because there is no individual soul mentioned by name here. It means any individual. It cannot mean any individual soul. It cannot mean all individual souls. So he says, aham smarami mad bhaktam only, not anybody else. Non-devotees are not remembered. Therefore, there is no use for the word, for the purpose of tam. Then smaranathirku pinbu, we just said tataha means then. So after smaranam, that is after Lord's memory or after the individual soul's memory of the Lord, you can take this way or that way. In both ways you can take. So tataha means after Lord remembers the individual soul or the individual soul remembers the Lord. Again, என்று தாத்பரியம் கொண்டாலும் மிகுதியாம். Again, moksha can be, if you say moksha can be attained immediately after smaranam, memory, you can say, because it has, maranam has occurred to the individual soul. Maranam has occurred. So as soon as the maranam is attained, or at the time of death, the individual soul remembers the Lord. That is what scripture says. So it's called Takkaratu Nyaya. Rajagopala Swami is interested in some logic, therefore Nyaya, this is Takkaratu Nyaya. Whatever we think at the end of the life, we will become that. This is called Takkaratu Nyaya.
Jadavardhan.
Yeah. He became a stag. He became Kondalum Mihudiyam. It is an exaggerated statement if you say that Paramagati is God. The highest goal is God. Soon after the memory. That means every one of us must get. So Ahil Yanil. Then what is the purpose of this? So either Tataha. What is the meaning of Tataha? ஆர்த்தி விசேஷாதிகளாலே பிரபத்திக்கு அனந்தரக்ஷணத்திலே சரீரபாதம் பிரஸ்துதமானாலும். Now you have another prapatti called, according to the Andavan Ashrama tradition. So the soul is suffering greatly. Serious suffering of this individual soul. He is in a hurry to get the moksha. It's a great hurry. He is in a great hurry to get the moksha. And he cannot brook any delay of single second. He cannot tolerate any late attainment of moksha. Arti means dukkham, kashtam, suffering. Arti vishesha means extraordinary suffering. For example, yes, disease called what you call problems for which dialysis is a treatment. People have said to me that it is a very painful treatment. Though we are allowed to live further, and if it is frequent as every day or every week, or even that it is painful. When the blood transfusion is done, the blood in the body is pumped out and another blood comes in. The dialysis process is a painful. The individual soul thinks that he must die the same moment. So also for any serious fracture, yes, kidney replacement, the heart or heart replacement, and so on, heart transplant, and so on. But there are some anesthesia applied in certain cases. You can just forget, you can sleep, but some problems are very obvious that we suffer, and therefore, prapatiki ananta lakshanatile, when a total surrender is done, the next moment, sharira patam, the life ebbs out, atma goes out. In the sense, prastutamanalum, even if it happens so, that means the body falls down, dead. Immediately, the next second of total surrender. Because the individual soul has done what we call artha prapatti. Artha prapatti. Total surrender of that suffering soul. Arti means dukkham, suffering. Artha means the suffering soul. Now, this is the beauty here. Please note in the page in 19 in the second line. ஸ்மரணத்தளவே வியாஜமாக ஷரீராந்தரத்தில் பிரவேசியாதபடி. Though we said smaranam, that is remembering God, will not grant us moksha, but it will have another advantage, very great advantage. That great advantage is blessed by the Lord. How? Simply by memory, that is what we call in disguise of memory. Lord does not allow our soul to enter into another body immediately. This is what happens normally. Immediately after getting out of one body, the present body, next moment the soul enters into another body. In the sense, you can say this way: a person who is dead at a particular time is immediately born without any time gap. So you find that the Lord gives the grace, so he protects the individual soul without getting into another body. It happened in the case of Shankaracharya, who had the skill of entering into another body. He entered into the king's body and came back to his original body. Kaya Pravesha, we call it in Sanskrit and Tamil. Kaya Pravesha. Parakaya Pravesha, entering into another's body. It's a skill. It cannot be siddhi, it cannot be practiced by all. So a Lord protects us. And now the problem is solved because the devotee has done the total surrender. If he has not done the total surrender, now we come to Vadakalai Sampradaya. We are not restricting ourselves to Samashrenam, where Pancha Samskaram is done, and that is the total surrender for Tengalai Sampradaya people. Whereas Vadakalai Sampradaya has got what we call transfer of the burden of merits and demerits to the preceptor. So after Samashrenam, we have a process called the Bharanyasaha, Bhara burden, Nyasa deposit of the burden to the responsibility of the preceptor. And once the devotee does the paranyasa, then he has no duty, no other duty to perform. Kartavya shesham illai. And that is the meaning of the word tata. See how careful Vedanta Deshika is to say, even for a single avyayam, indeclinable, you can dismiss it as very flimsy, very meaningless, if you say, because it is the word of God, or Sri Varaha, Bhuvaraha. You have to take every syllable into account and every letter to mean something different from what it says. So tataha meaning, there is no duty enjoined on the individual soul further once he has done the total surrender. Namely, not prapatti, bharanyasa. Different names, they are synonymous of course, but bharanyasa is particularly for Deshika Sampradaya people. The next meaning of tam. தம் என்றது கிருத்தியனாய் சாத்தக விருத்தியான தனக்கு வரும் வருமானத்தை பிரிய அதிதியைப் போல பார்த்திருக்கும் அவனை என்றபடி. This idea is an ancient idea. We may not entertain this idea today because we are all stingy. We are all misers. Therefore, this idea will not come to our mind. Namely, a bird called chataka, skylark, you can say, it expects the rain to drink. Or the moonlight to. It swallows moonlight. It eats moonlight. It's a bird. It's called chataka bakshi. We can say it as skylark. We don't identify the exact name. Chakora is also the name, same name. Chakora, I think, expects rainwater. Chataka, I'm sorry, little confusion. Take it as any bird waiting for the food, even by natural phenomenon, namely moonlight or rain, say. So, தனக்கு வரும் வருமானத்தை, so just like a bird called chataka, an individual soul like us waits for a guest. There is a rule in Shastra that after preparing food and offering to the Lord, we must wait for some time. What is the duration of the time? It's called milking a cow. Time taken for milking a cow. Godoha kalaha. Godoha kalaha. Are we doing it, or all of us are not doing it? So you have to wait for. And before offering to the guest, we must also do Vaishyadevam. So there are different types of Vaishyadevam. They say it takes 15 minutes. So we have, after preparing food and after offering food, we have to perform Vaishyadevam. Vaishyadevam is, by the word you can understand you are satisfying a set of gods called Vishwadevaha. And again, Antaryami of Vishwadevaha is Lord Sriman Narayana. And this is especially meant sentimentally as to wash our sin away for cutting the vegetables. The vegetables, of course, today we buy. If we have a garden at home or a field belonging to us, when we can rear vegetable plants and then pluck it from the plant, cut it down into pieces and use it as vegetable dish for our meals, then we are committing a lot of sins. Even while buying with money the vegetable, we are sharing the sins of the people who cut off the vegetables from the plants. So here Vaishyadevam is supposed to be the atonement, expiation for the sin committed for cutting the vegetables. Even Shastra is very favorable to nature. And even, for example, the flower in the plant will be so beautiful to look at. But when we pluck it, of course, we are going to offer it to the God, but nevertheless, we are plucking the flower. We are injuring the plant. So let us now understand. So he is expecting a good guest, in the sense, a favorite guest. Priya Atithi. He expects his close friend or very close relative. This thumb meaning an individual soul, a devotee, he is expecting the reach of the highest goal, namely Paramapadam or Vaikuntham. Just as one, like a bird expecting the food or to offer food to a favorite guest. So that is what the meaning of thumb. Meaning, Krita Kristyanai, that is also another meaning. There are two analogies, like comparing him to the bird as well as expecting the favorite guest. Thumb meaning he has completed all his commitments. He has done all his duties perfectly. Krita Krityaha meaning Krityam is duty. Krita means done. So he has done his duty. No more duty is there for him. That kind of soul is called thumb. See, look at the beauty in Sanskrit where the simple word I told you, the indeclinable, can mean so much. Then Mad Bhaktam. Now, when he says Mad Bhaktam, my devotee, he says he belongs to me. As we must say, Tava Asmi. We need not say even Tava Asmi Dasaha. I am a slave to you. I am your subservient personality. We need not say that. You simply say, I belong to you. Tava Asmiti. Yachate. You have to beg him. But here, he comes forward to favor us. So, Mat Bhaktam, when he says, my devotee, he has a possessiveness of the individual soul towards the individual soul. He owns him. He created him. He now owns him. And he is very happy. And you cannot measure his happiness. And therefore, when we go near him, that means when we surrender to him, when we love him, then he considers us as you can say, for example, a man who likes some particular dish. So he loves to eat more and more. Niratishaya Bhogya. Wonderful. Atishaya wonder, Niratishaya, just like as we say in English, instead of numerous, we say numberless. Just like that, most wonderful happiness comes to the Lord by our devotion. Because we surrendered to him. We did Bharanyasam to him. He is fond of us. So tam mad bhaktam. So now add that mad bhaktam, that particular extraordinary individual soul, who is a noble soul, and he is my devotee. Tam mad bhaktam. As I told you, Lord is not worried about non-devotees, nor he wants to go near them. When we honor him, he honors us. தம் மத்பக்தம் என்கிற இரண்டு பதத்தாலுமாக அனன்யோபாயனமாய் we as individual souls should not take some other recourse. We should not take any other shelter. We should not take any other God as the means to our moksha. So Ananya Upayanamai. And then the goal that we desire, the aim that we look at, should not be again somebody else other than Sriman Narayana. So Ananya Prayojanamanavanai. So Mad Bhaktam meaning, there are two meanings for Mad Bhaktam. Bhaktam, Bhakti, the devotion, or Bhakta, devotee, is defined as these two qualities. Namely, Bhakti means you don't consider the somebody else other than the Lord as the means to attain moksha, nor you, the individual soul, thinks of some other usage for prapatti. Please remember, we are repeating this idea in every stotra of Vedanta Deshika. Namely, our aim is not to ask for anything from prapatti. In return to our prapatti, we are not supposed to even think of something in return from the Lord. That will be the highest level of devotion. And therefore, devotion means no other God is considered as the means and no other usage for the prapanna, that is the surrendery, and therefore he is called bhakta. So, of course, as we know, bhakti involves very difficult, cumbersome process, but that should end in these two aims. And that will be a good bhakti. Therefore, he said mad bhakta. So again, there are two categories among the bhaktas. Of course, they have the common quality, namely Ananya Upayaha, Ananya Prayojanaha. But still, we have two categories of people, one set of people asking for leadership, Aishwaryam. So leadership or wealth, you can say. Both are given by the word Aishwaryam. Then you have Kaivalyam, Avantara Moksham, we say, intermediary emancipation. Kaivalya. Kaivalyartha Prapannarai. So either you make into one category these two people, two types of people, namely those who ask for leadership or wealth. Those who ask for intermediary emancipation. Kaivalyam. It's called Avantara Moksha. Now this is one category. The other one is Mokshartha Upasakaha. He is continuously meditating. This category of people is what we call the meditation for only moksha. That is reaching the Vaikuntha. So again, please remember, again and again, please remember, moksham is not something what we call our journey from this world to Vaikuntham, but it is Kainkaryam, the service to the Lord. So
So
service to the Lord is moksha.
Tadbhaktam Parama Ekantiya.
Ama. Parameka. அதான் சொல்ல வந்தது. Correct. வேற ஒன்றும் நினைவில்லை. He has no other thought in his mind. Param Ekanti. So Karanikanana Ishwaran, graceful, compassionate that the Lord is, எல்லாருக்கும் மோட்சம் கொடுக்க பிராப்தன். That now I told you, he must have no partiality. In the sense, a non-devotee also must be granted emancipation. If you say so, that is, he is so graceful that he should grant all people moksha without any distinction whatsoever. Then our karma interferes in between. Anadi karma pravaha விஷய மக்னரான அதிகாரிகளுக்கு நிர்வியாஜமாக மோட்சம் கொடுத்தால், the Lord has the right as well as he is fit enough to give moksha to all. He has the duty to give moksha to all. மன்னவர் பெறுவது called விண்ணகம்.
மன்னவர்
மன்னவர்
விதி
வைகுந்தம் புகுவது
மன்னவர்
மன்னவர்
விதி
மரணமானால் வைகுந்தம் கொடுக்கும் பிரான். That means all after death should go to Vaikuntham. Whereas here there is another bad category. A qualified man is there, adhikari. A qualified man is there, but he is immersed in the pleasures of this world. Vishaya magna. Magna means immersed. Vishaya magna. So where is he immersed? In the flood. Pravaha. What is the flood? Karma pravaha. The flood of actions. How long? Anadi. Without a beginning. That means we do not know when our birth started first. So that is the rather confusion, or rather the knot which cannot be untied by the Shastra. When were you born first? You cannot answer that question. How many births did you undergo? You cannot answer this question. So anadi karma pravaha vishayam agni. But what you call the latent impression of the mind of the previous birth is there, and therefore we drown ourselves into the mire of the karma. M-Y-R-E. So nirvyajamaha moksha kudutal. Suppose Lord grants to them also, namely those who are immersed in the mire of pleasures of the world, then what will happen? Karma anurupa phalapradayitva niyamam kolai. Namely, the discipline which Shastra says will be useless. According to our karma, punya or papa, meritorious deeds or sins, we will get the phalam, fruit, consequence. Fruit or consequence. Consequence, I think it should be negative. So fruit or consequence by the good and bad deeds. And this kind of demarcation will be absent, and it will be against Shastra. So the discipline will be diluted, and therefore karma anurupa phalapradaya. So adu kulayamika. In order that this discipline doesn't become diluted, இப்பதத்வயத்தில் சொன்ன ஆகாரமுடையார்க்கு மோட்சம். That's why he said, aham smarami mad bhaktam. So what is the frame of the devotee? Ananya prayojanaha, ananya upayaha. Please remember these two words. So padadvayam, this is what you call padadvayatil. So that is what you call mad bhaktam, mama bhaktam. When you say mama bhaktam, bhakta is defined as a person who does not seek refuge in others, as well as he does not fix any pratyupakara or the return benefit from the Lord. So these two qualifications will fit the devotee, and therefore akara mudayarku moksham. When they have the figure endowed with these two qualities, moksham is assured. Now, karunyam onrayum pradhanamaki. Suppose you highlight the grace of God as very important, and then argue again that even sinners should go to heaven, in the sense Vaikuntham. So Shastra Siddha Swatantra Vyavasthe Kulekka Patal. If you want to confuse the science, spiritual science, then because it is free, it has got a liberty. If you want to cut down the liberty of the Shastra, namely scriptures, the condition of scriptures, then Satya Sankalpada illamalaye iswatantaryamum alindu nirishwaravadamum prasangikum. So what will happen is, the consequence will be there will be no promise from the Lord. Satya Sankalpaha. There is no decision of truth from the Lord. And the freedom will get off, and the argument will result in Nirishwaravada, that there is no God. So atheism will become rampant by this kind of what you call argument, namely the grace of the God should favor all. இப்படியே சர்வரும் ஈஸ்வர கிருபையாலே நித்திய முக்தராக. Supposing it happens this way, because of the compassion of the Lord, Ishvara Kripayale, all individual souls have become Nitya Muktaha, Nitya and Muktaha, Nitya Muktaha. Permanent released souls are equated with Garuda, Vishaksena and Arishesha, become Nitya, or you can say add one more Nitya Suri, scholars, and Muktaha, released souls. What will happen? We'll go to the next one.
Swami, Dvaithatla, the Muktas are selected by, only selective Bhaktas are selected by Bhagavan himself to Moksham. This is what they say. Either you should go from Brahmalogam as a Brahma, after getting the power of Brahma post, you are going to Moksha. And other Muktas, he selects from the world. It is his option and it is his prerogative. Bhagavan. That is what Dvaitam says. Dvaitam says.
Now our question is, the previous line says that why doesn't the Lord favor both the prapannas and sinners, the devotees and the sinners, devotees and non-devotees? What will happen if Lord showers His grace upon both equally? Certain, which prevents him, which prohibits him, which bans him from differentiating? Shodhyamam parikata. This kind of analysis is also avoided. How do we avoid? It is what we call karma phala prapyatvad. So jagat karanatva moksha pradattvadigal illada bodu ஒருவனை விசேஷித்து ஈஸ்வரன் என்கைக்கு பிரமாணம் இல்லை. Now, if we understand that there is no cause of the world, we do not know who created the world, and when we say there is no one who created the world, then there is no Vaikuntham also, there is no Moksham also. So when we cannot find the cause of this world, and when there is no grant of moksha, then there is no room for Lord to pick up, as Madhva Sampradaya says, pick up from the good souls and give him moksha. Because there is no moksha at all. There is no heaven, there is no Paramapadam, there is no Vaikuntham. Because we do not know where from the creation came. This world came, this universe came. Now look at so there is no authority, there is no Shastra which says that the Lord calls only one special person and grants beatitude. So ingu mad bhaktam engira padam bhakti yoga nishtane sollugai.
It is on the merits of his bhakti merits not all. He is not so easily select people. Only those who are, he convinced that he is a real bhakta like that, so he chooses him. That is what they say.
Right, we already listed two qualities. Ananya Prayojana, Ananya Upaya.
Sam,
That
it
is
is
enough for this.
old wine in a new cup.
The twin qualities are enough sufficient for the Lord to grant moksha. So another shade of meaning for Madbhaktam. இங்கு மத்பக்தம் என்கிற பதம், this word called மத்பக்தம், பக்தி யோக நிஷ்டனை சொல்லுகை. So we have been taking this word bhakta. When you say bhakta, bhakti yoga is practiced by that bhakta. That is natural. A devotee should have practiced the discipline of devotion. But does this apply to somebody else? Others? Laghu upaya upadesha prakaranattikkum. Now you understand that prapati is very important concept of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya. And therefore, so you say it as Bharanyasa here. Bharanyasa is the right word instead of prapati. Prapati can be said normally as a general term. But we are talking about Bharanyasa. Bharanyasa is a laghu upaya, easiest means. And the easiest means of Bharanyasa is advised by the preceptor, Upadesha, advised by the preceptor. So in the context of Prakaranam, in the context of advice given by the preceptor on an easier means to attain moksha, Tadanugunangalana Purva Shlokatil Padangalukum. Now we must read the first line of first line with the words, and then இச்லோகத்தில் அந்திம திசையில் காஷ்ட பாஷாண சந்நிபம் என்கிறதற்கும் அனுகுணம் ஆகாது. So when we are talking about Bharanyasa, this is the easiest means to go to moksha, right? So it cannot be accepted because in Varaha incarnation, the Lord himself says, Aham smarami madbhaktam. So when he is like a log of wood and stone still, without movement and inert in nature. So this will not happen because if we have a very easy mode of getting moksha, Lagupaya Upadesha Prakaranatirkum. So that means everybody will get Bharanyasa, do Bharanyasa and get moksha. So this shloka is not necessary. Varaha Charana shloka may not be needed. And therefore, so Antima Dasil, the last lap of life of a human being, Kashta Pashana Sannibham, the what you call a non-devotee lying down like a log of wood and stone, Anugunamaha. That means he has not surrendered. He has not done Bharanyasa. And how can we say that Lord can give moksha, grant moksha to people who have not done Bharanyasa and died? Paschat later, Paviyai, he becomes a sinner. So Gadyantaram undana oru padathai kondu, so he takes hold of, he seeks the support of some other source of emancipation. Gatyantaram, he finds another route, another road. So he finds the word Urupadatte Kondu, meaning all the other traditions except Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya give us various methods of approaching God. Take one of them, Urupadatte Kondu. So we remember how we were bad earlier. Purva Bhaviyana Pramanati. Purva Bhaviyana Pramanati. Take the authoritative statement which was earlier mentioned. Swavakyatil Anekapada Swarasyatiyam Badike Nyaya Viruddham. It is logically unacceptable because So you take the authoritative statement from Shastras and you create your own sentence saying that there are so many interesting words available, then these two will not go together. That is, by understanding differently the Charama Shloka of Bhuvaraha, you also accuse the Lord, you also tell the Lord, you also request the Lord, you have created me, you take care of me. It is your bounden duty to look after me. It is your mandatory duty to give moksha to me. If we argue like this endlessly, then there is no meaning of the karma phalam and so on. And the authoritative statements, authentic statements will become false. And it will be against logic or against justice.
இல்ல அவ எப்பவுமே காஷ்டாவாவே இருக்கா.
அதனால்தான் புனரப்பி ஜனனம் புனரப்பி மரணம். புனரப்பி ஜனனி ஜఠரே சயம். As the individual soul do not realize the mistake even at the end of one's life. Now you understand Lord's Bhuvaraha's Karma Shloka is necessary, though it is an assurance to those non-devotees. We must not mistake it as anybody can be given moksha by the Lord. The only assurance is இவனுக்கு இனி ஜன்மாந்தராதிகள் இல்லை. So no further birth is for him, for such a person. So we will have.
சாமி ஒரு சின்ன சந்தேகம். தென்னாச்சார சம்பந்தத்துல பரநியாசம் கிடையாது. நான் உன்னுடைய பொறுப்பு, நீ தான் என்னை படைச்ச, நீ தான் என்னை ஏத்துக்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்றது அப்ப எப்படின்னா, என்னுடைய கர்ம வினையெல்லாம் நான் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பேன். நான் ஐ வில் கண்டினியூ டு டு வாட் ஐ டிட், பட் ஸ்டில் இட் இஸ் யுவர் ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டி டு டேக், பிகாஸ் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி வருது இல்லையா?
ஆமா, in Tengalai Sampradaya, Tamasharanam itself is what we call Bharanyas. As we approach the preceptor, Tamasharanam is approaching the preceptor well. A good approach to the preceptor. The preceptor will solve all the problems according to the faith of this individual soul, surrendering. And he transfers all his merits and demerits. The fruit of good activities and sins to the preceptor in Samasharanam itself. They don't advocate another step called Bharanyasa. And we have one more step called Prayaschitta Prapati. Both are not practiced there. As you said, Lord has to take the responsibility of our protection, and he should do it. He ought to do it.
No, correct. Right. But இது பிரபத்தி பரநியாசம் இல்லை, இதுலயே சமாசனத்திலே முடிஞ்சு போச்சுன்னா, சமாசனம் if in the young age, between that young age to older or something where if you realize strictly okay, otherwise நான் பண்ற எல்லா கர்மவினைக்கு உண்டானதையும் யூ டேக் அப்படிங்கிறது இட் இஸ் நாட் ஜஸ்டிஃபைட் இல்லையா? அதாவது இதுக்கு முன்னாடி சமாசனத்திலேருந்து நான் பண்ற கர்மவினால் ஏற்படுற என்னுடைய அப்ஸ் அண்ட் டவுன்ஸுக்கு எல்லாமே அதையும் யூ ஜஸ்ட் வேவ் ஆஃப் அண்ட் டேக் மீ அப்படிங்கிறது எப்படின்னு எனக்கு சரியா இருந்தது. இல்ல நீங்கள் அவளுடைய சம்பிரதாயத்துல
இல்ல அது என்னன்னா, see, after we do Samasharanam in Tengalai Sampradaya, we are not supposed to commit sins. Or all of us doing the way.
நம்ம பரநியாசம் அதே தானே? இல்ல அது நம்ம பரநியாசம் அதே தானே?
நம்ம பரநியாசம் என்னன்னா, there's no concession to commit sins after our Samasharanam. But we request, as you said, we request the preceptor to make us good people. And in spite of it, we commit sins. no, unknowingly you can say. Suppose unknowingly you do it. So again you have prayaschitta prapatti after even Bharanyasa, and again you are, and that means you are again committing sins after the one prapatti. Only once, prapatti, total surrender is only for once done. It's only once done. But even that one time prapatti is not recommended by Tengalai Sampradaya, because it is an end in itself. Samashayana is an end in itself. So you have further comment by Keshav.
Swami, as you say, Bharanyasa and property are synonymous, equal. The only difference is Tengalais are doing it early, Vadagalais are doing it late. That's the only difference.
No, many people do it in the young age also. Bharanyasam is done in the young age. Even before what we call Upanayanam of boys and marriage of girls. Even before marriage of girls, even before Upanayanam of boys, Andavan Sampradaya grants Bharanyas. At the very young age of 5.
Andavan Mat.
At the very young age of 5.
Some people are doing it. But majority of Deshika Sampradaya is doing it late.
Yeah, but the problem is at the end of 5 years of age, and also at the end of 85 years of age, we don't stop committing sins, knowingly or unknowingly.
Right. Tengalais don't stop sinning. Vadagalais don't stop sinning. Nobody stops sinning. Only when the body drops, then we can say the sin is stopping.
That's right.
But the question is, how do I know that I'm going to last until I should do property as soon as I become aware of property, I need to do it.
Right. The elders must instruct the youngsters also. And even when elders are taking it late, then youngsters naturally will follow them.
No, it starts from like this, Swami. My soul is not mine. It is God's. That realization comes definitely at the age of later stage. It is normally of course it varies from individual to individual. So when you realize that totally he is the man, it is his soul, where I cannot take his property of mine. So that realization comes, you are fit to be for Varanya.
Right.
Now,
I agree with you. I agree with you. Okay.
I don't think so, sir.
When somebody
you cannot you say you never realize yourself that you can go for the property. You should have a belief in your acharya. That's all. I feel that.
It is the different how people take
even,
it.
Even at the age of 80, you cannot realize that you are fully surrendered to the Lord.
You are unfit. You are unfit for property. That's what I am telling. Even of not it is not because of the age. As you said, when even 8 people can get maturity, and say 85 he cannot get maturity. What is same? What are same? This makes no difference. And that's what, as you said.
What kind of maturity you are saying? What kind of maturity?
That's what I told my friend itself. This soul is not of mine. It is of God. It is of Narayana. I have to go. He will take me. So I have to surrender him. That maturity you have to get. If you are not getting at the 80, it is same as 5. What I feel, age of 5, boy cannot get that maturity. And you say even at the age of 80, he is unfit to be a proper nun. That's what the general.
Okay. I tell you, Rajagopal Swami.
Ultimately,
Rajagopal Swami, we always do Parayanam that my soul is not mine, it is the Lord's. Atma, Jivatma is his. You go on saying it in Jivatma Tava, Jivatma Tava, Jivatma Tava. But the problem is, in this life, we are not able to realize it fully. We
What
understand
I
the
am telling,
concept.
Swami.
We
No,
understand
when
the concept. We fully accept the concept. But nevertheless, our ego and possessiveness come in the way of realization. Therefore, we don't realize that concept. That means we
then
don't
you are
feel it. We don't experience it. That's a problem. Otherwise,
then you are
you say,
correct, Swami.
you
Then you
pre.
are unfit for Prapandan. That is where you have to accept it. If you that is the case. If I am not getting my Vinayam or where I cannot get that maturity, you should realize yourself that I am unfit. And you cannot say when I am unfit I should go to motion. But it is like that. No, when you feel if you realize that I am not that, you cannot ask for motion. Even Bhagavan cannot help you. When you are not realized yourself, your soul, you are definitely you cannot ask for it. You cannot wish for it.
Okay.
Adiyan,
Ultimately, whether you are realized it or not realized it, you are
Yeah, that's what I
you are a
asked.
Shesha.
Correct.
You are a servant. Whether you realize it or you don't realize it doesn't matter. You're a servant. He's the master, and he can take you if he wants.
Right.
In the case of Vibhishna Sharanagati, and another 4 asuras, they were also being given Sharanagati with what do you call Vibhishna. They have never asked that. They have never realized it. They just only Vibhishna. They came with Vibhishna. They have also been given this thing.
Sakat.
And when you are when you are not asked for it, you cannot give Prabhati. That is also the condition is there. You have to request for it, you can take it. When you are not, I don't know about it, I am not requested, you are disqualified naturally. It's nice asking 6 people. If you say let Acharya Prabhati, okay, if he asks for someone.
இல்ல சாஸ்திரம் அப்படி சொல்லவே இல்லையே, ராமாயணம் அப்படி சொல்லலையே.
இல்ல ராமாயணம் is not Veda.
ராமாயணம் வேதம் இல்ல.
இல்ல ராமாயணம் இல்ல ராமாயணம் வந்து வேதத்தை சொல்றது உங்களுக்கு புரிய வைக்கிறதுக்கு they dilute certain things and you make you understand it is like that. அப்படியே நீங்க you cannot strictly follow what Ramayana says. It is certain example.
அடியன் சரணாகதி தத்துவமே சரணாகதி சாஸ்திரமே ராமாயணத்தை தான் சொல்றது. ராமாயணமே சரணாகதி சாஸ்திரம் தான் சொல்றது.
இல்ல நீங்க ரிக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணா
ராமாயணா itself a சரணாகதி சாஸ்திரம். So whatever it is Ramayana says is சரணாகதி சாஸ்திரம். அடியன் எப்படி அப்படிதானே சுவாமி? அதான் தப்பா சொல்றேன்.
Agreed சுவாமி, agreed. But சரணாகதியினுடைய மெயின் first principle, somebody request for it only I can give. It is what Krishna says, what Rama says. Without request, there is no Saranagati. It is what I understood. I may be wrong, but this is what I understood. Request should come from individual soul. Somebody for me requesting, okay, certain they follow it and they give the responsibility to someone and they on behalf of them they are doing it. And if you say that, then Vishnu Saranagati and his 4 people, it is like Acharya Saranagati, what this Andavan is doing.
Now, with regard to Raghuraman's statement, it's right. Ramayana is Sakshat Vedaha Ramayana Masi. Only scripture became Ramayana. Therefore, whatever Ramayana says is final.
No, sir, what I am telling you, sir, very simple, very simple question. I am not going beyond that because there is no end for it. What I am telling, a Prapannan should request for Prapatti, otherwise he is not be given. This is what the basic rule written. And somebody is asking for it at the deathbed, somebody is requesting, okay, it's accepted. That is exceptional cases. But individual soul should request for it. He can be considered. This is what I understood about it. I may be wrong. You please correct me.
உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் அடியன் திருக்குடந்தை ஆண்டவன் நாய்க்கு கூட பண்ணியிருக்காரு. நாய் வந்து பண்ணியிருக்காரு, மாட்டுக்கு பண்ணியிருக்கா அவள் தான். Even a cow or a dog, they have been given property.
Swami, Andavan இல்ல எங்க அழைசிங்கர் வந்து யானைக்கு பண்ணியிருக்கார். Because they served him. They served him. They are in the deathbed. They are giving. It is like that. No? Some certain examples they had. Because this is Acharya.
But they have.
உதாரணம்.
But the dog or elephant has not asked you, know that.
No,
I mean,
no,
they are
please
so-
understand. Please understand. There is no need of maturity, Swami, to ask for moksha. Because without maturity, we will ask, we will do prapatti. We will do prapatti. We are not prevented from doing prapatti. And when we say you are not fit to do prapatti, that is wrong. We never realize the wisdom doesn't dawn upon us during our life.
I mean, my conscience is not accept that. You don't have maturity, you don't have realization, you don't have vivekam. Still, I will ask for it. It is Bhagavan and you. It is where I am not coming in the way. My conscience is not accepting that. Very simple, Swami.
Okay.
ராமானுஜதயாபாத்ரம் ஞான வைராக்கிய பூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்த தேசிகம் கவிதார்க்கிக சிம்மாய கல்யாண குணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேசாய வேதாந்த குரவே நமः. வாதித்விபசிரோபங்க பஞ்சானன பராக்கிரமா ஸ்ரீமான் வெங்கடநாதாத்ய இரம் விஜேதா புவி. சீரொன்று தூப்பும் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வாழேற போவளவு வாழ்வு.
Dhanyavad.
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्
कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय வேதாந்தகுரவே நமஹ. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய.